Hey guys, this is a Jaeger task guide for the Huntsman Pass secured perimeter. For this task, you have to eliminate 6 PMC operatives on any floor of the offices area on factory. So here's a map of factory, and this is where the 3 floors of the offices are located. So you have to eliminate 6 PMCs in the offices area in factory, and luckily you can bring in any weapon that you want and are comfortable with in order to try and get the kills, and you can also wear any armor or kit that you want, which means that you can come in as juiced up or as naked as you want to try and get those kills. Some of the guns that are going to be effective, since it is a relatively close quarters map, will be shotguns or SMGs, or honestly, because it's Tarkov and bullets are king over guns, you can honestly bring in anything that you really have good ammo for. Factory is one of those maps where I would definitely recommend using a face shield, since you will have more pistol runners than normal on this map, since people are trying to go here and then get their stirrup task done, so trying to get their 3 pistol kills, and it does really suck if you are chatted up and they end up getting a lucky aim punch head eyes with PSO ammo. Also, if you're not used to running factory and PvP on this map, then this task can be quite discouraging because you will end up dying a lot while working away at it, but the main thing is just to be persistent and keep coming back and then retrying. Eventually you will end up getting those 6 PMC kills, and the best thing really is to just try and learn from each death whenever possible, like what you could have done differently in that situation and what you may need to practice on, or what areas are good to set up in the offices to give yourself a PvP advantage. Unfortunately, sometimes all the players will end up getting into a fight elsewhere on the map, and then they won't end up coming to the offices, or they're just trying to pass off gear to their buddies, and then they end up taking the cellar extract and avoid other PMCs. But then you'll also notice that in some raids, the offices area is just a complete war zone, so realistically it's going to change from one raid to the next. Another thing to be aware of is that the player scavs do start spawning in at around 14 minutes, so sometimes it's a good idea to go and get your kills, loot them up, and then to get out before the player scavs start swarming you. Another thing to note is that the PMCs do have to be within the offices area when they die, otherwise they won't count for you. Even if you end up killing them while you're standing in the offices area, you have to let them cross over the imaginary line for them to count towards the task, which means unfortunately people do have to come to you for this task, and so you do have to camp a little bit and wait for people to come. So I will end up showing you guys a couple areas that may end up giving you an advantage. So there is a little bit of confusion for this task because some people do think that all of the kills have to come within the 3rd floor office room, the area that has the 2 doors, but that's actually not the case. I will show you guys where you can actually kill PMCs and still get credit towards this task. So I am here in front of the factory offices area, and the kills will actually count towards this task for killing any PMCs on any of the 3 floors as long as the enemy is within the stairwells or in any of the areas that are in between the 2 stairwells on either side. So this will give you a lot of extra breathing room in terms of how you can position in order to get those kills. And moving up to the 3rd floor, just so you guys know, the sky bridge will not count towards the task either if they're not through the door frame closer to the stairwell. And speaking of the stairwell, the first place that I will show you guys is that you can actually sit at the very top of the stairs looking down and have a good angle and sight on anyone who's trying to climb up the stairs. And you can actually do this on both sides of the offices. And even though you can't kill an enemy who is on the actual sky bridge, you can still use that door to position yourself and get a right hand peek down the hallway. And as you move down to the other side of the hallway, you will notice that there is a hole that leads to a metal walkway. You cannot kill anyone who's out on that metal walkway. They will not count towards the task either. So if you actually want to hang out in the 3rd floor office, hoping that someone will try to come in and loot the safe, there are a few areas in here that people will typically try to position themselves in. First 2 spots are going to be on the left side of the room as soon as you go in by the filing cabinets, but be careful because they are also well-known camping spots, and it also gives you a left-hand peek, so it's definitely not ideal unless you catch somebody completely off guard. Some people will also try to sit on either of the 2 desks that's in here, but I would say the one that's in between the 2 doors is definitely the better choice of the 2 in hopes that people won't be expecting you there. And then the last area is on top of the filing cabinets in the right-hand corner of the room as soon as you enter. This will give you a right-hand peek out the doors, but this area is also getting more and more well-known, and if the players experience at all, it likely will not work against them. I know that I literally check it every single time that I enter this room. Heading over next door, you do have the breach room, and there are a couple spots in here that you can wait for players, the first being behind the door, the next being behind the couch, and then the latch is going to be on top of this filing cabinet, but you do have to jump and crouch in order to get up there successfully, so it can be tricky at times. Another thing that you can try and do from this room is, if you know that there are players camping inside of the 3rd floor office, is that you can throw a grenade through the crack at the top of the door into that office room, and almost like a breach technique before you rush in, and then that way you could either make the players rush out or even get a possible kill towards your task. Now onto the 2nd floor in the bathroom, you do have some lockers that you can position yourself to give yourself a nice right hand peek on anyone coming in through the metal platform or coming up or down the stairs. And on the opposite side, after you open up the door, you can actually jump up on top of a sink that's slightly lower than the rest of them, and then move yourself over to the left overlooking that half wall, and then you can shoot anyone coming up these stairs or coming in from the metal platform on that side as well. You can also turn around from this area and guard the other side for anyone coming in from the bathroom on the opposite side. One thing to note though is that there is a very loud tile sound whenever you're walking around the bathroom, and it's the only location with this audio cue, so you will definitely give your position away if any players hear you moving in here. Another method that you can use is to hold the stairs on either side of the stairwell. I personally use this method quite a bit. However, sometimes the audio can be quite trash, and so it can really screw you up and then make you question where it is that you're being pushed from, whether it's high or low. And once we go down to the first floor, you do have a couple options. The first that'll show you is around the pillar, and that will be stopping anyone coming into the first floor computer room or trying to get the duffel bag that's just outside of that room. And then there are actually a couple spots inside of the computer room, like up on top of the filing cabinet and there on the left hand side, or I have seen people up on top of the bookshelf at the back of the room, but you are very exposed in that area. Another place that works really well is if you are being chased by a player, it is actually behind the door. So once you go into that computer room, go immediately to your right and then sneak in behind the door. People never tend to look behind that door when they go into this room. They always assume that you're going to be on the left hand side, either up by the filing cabinet or behind the desk, so you can really catch people off guard by being behind the door. So hopefully you guys learned some new spots, and this guide will help you to make some progress towards your secured perimeter task. Thank you guys for staying to the end if you're still here, and have a fantastic rest of your day. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is just a couple of my different social links in case you guys wanted to connect more easily. I am primarily streaming on Twitch now multiple nights a week. So if you do want to connect with me or my community, that would probably be the easiest way to do so. And if you do come over to the Twitch and you want to join the Discord community, then just type !Discord or cord in the chat in order to get an invite link. And if you don't use Twitch, then I do have a link in the picture as well as a link below in the description. And we are growing and currently have an active and welcoming community with people of all experience and skill levels. So there will always be someone who could help to answer any questions that you may have. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.